Welcome to
Every Day is Macaroni.
I'm Joy Alford Brand.
And I'm Juliette Connell, and we're the hosts of Everyday Macaroni, the podcast.
This podcast is a look at the lighter side of life, where we talk about our adventures as a modern blended family.
So sit back, relax,
and prepare to have your funny bone tickled. Hello, listeners. Boy, do we have an extra special treat for you today. But before we get started, if you're watching on YouTube, please don't forget to give this video a like, share it, and subscribe to our channel while you're at it. That helps us create more fun content for you, our one and only listener. And for those of you who are new here, these episodes are based on the recordings of the weekly dinners I have with my husband, Ron, his sister, Juliette, who is also a co-host of this podcast, and their 80-year-old parents, Al and Lita. Listener, this is a fun second half of our beach trip podcast where we are talking about so many super exciting things like napping, party games, and yogurt. Not to mention the curious question of who kept locking the bathroom door. Oh yeah, this one's a whopper. You're really going to enjoy it. There's a lot of napping going on.
A lot of napping. Ken and I were talking about it later on afterwards, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever watched that much TV in my life. Because in the morning, you're trying to be quiet. You were sleeping some nights or some mornings. My parents were in their room, so I assume they were sleeping. The girls were. And Ken and I wake up pretty early. But my parents go to bed at 11:30. They were watching TV till really late. They totally beat me. By 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I'm like done. And I was in bed. So I wake up at around 5. Ken wakes up at around 4:30, 5. So he was usually the first awake. He'd make coffee. We'd sit there, watch TV. And then you have to wait for everyone. What are we doing? Mm-hmm. Are we going to the beach? Yes, we're going to the beach. That's the thing we do every day.
Yes, of course. You're at the beach.
You're at the beach.
Uh-huh.
We're going to the beach.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So then you get into your bathing suit, blah, blah, blah. And
gotta
then
put all the sunscreen
back,
on.
Oh, it's lunchtime. Okay, let's put the TV's already on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who put it on. I was like,
what do you mean you don't know who put it on?
Probably the girls or my parents.
No, your parents. TV plays a very big role in their life.
Yeah.
If they're awake, the TV is on.
Yeah. Which is funny because they don't tend to talk all that much while they're watching TV.
I don't know.
And that's fine because we don't talk very much, And especially if the TV's on, we're not the type that are like, oh my gosh, did you see what she said? What did she say? She said this, she said that. Well, what are you going to do? What do you think she's going to do? I don't know. We'll watch it. Now, unless it's a horror movie. If it's a horror movie, all bets are off. I am asking who has watched the movie.
Juliette's talking about herself.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Who's watched the movie? Does anyone know if she dies? If she dies, you need to tell me. Mm-hmm. Just so I can prepare myself.
It can't be a horror movie. It can't be like a sad movie. It can't be.
Yeah, the sad movie too. I need to know if they're going to die or not.
Yeah.
Are they making it or are they not? I need to prepare myself.
It's more than that, but is there, what kind of struggle we got that we're dealing with here? I mean, is it a big struggle? Because if there's a big struggle, I don't know. I'd rather watch Harry Potter. I'm just saying.
That's my go-to. I'm cleaning the house. I need something in the background. Mm-hmm. Oh, is Harry Potter on?
Do you know how many times we've watched Harry Potter together? I go over there and she's got Harry Potter on.
Harry Potter on. I know, because it's one of those movies that I remember the kids watching over and over again. I know what parts are on. I could sit there for a second and be like, oh, I'm tired. Okay. Oh, yeah, I remember this part. And then I get up and I wash dishes or I'm, vacuuming or whatever it is that I'm doing. And then I go and sit down again. I'm like, oh, okay, having a sandwich. I know what part this is. It's like I never missed a part. And every once in a while, I do have to say that I'm like, oh my gosh, I never noticed that. Still to this day. And I'm like, I know.
You're still seeing new things?
Every once in a while, I'm like, I don't think I realized that. Did they do that? I don't remember them doing that before.
Oh my God. Oh boy.
So that's pretty
well,
funny.
There was an enormous amount of TV watching going on.
Enormous, yes.
Yes,
enormous.
A lot of TV watching.
Yes.
Which
is okay, because Ken and I are like go, go, go all the time.
Well, Ken was trying to watch 1883. I know. And your dad stayed up. So he got your dad into it a little bit.
He did.
And then that night, your dad stayed up and watched all of it.
I know. Well, he watched most of it, right? I don't know if he watched all of it or not, but hopefully he watched all of it, right?
Because he watched way ahead.
Yeah.
He watched way ahead.
He watched way ahead. So when Ken got up, it was already to a part that he had no idea. And he was just like, forget it. He's like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done. So, yeah, that was pretty funny. I was like, well. So, you know that, of course, we ended up getting Paramount at home.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
It's only $5. It's only $5, Juliet.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get it so that I could watch I'm like, that's fine. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go get yourself the Paramount.
He deserves it. That was a lot of work for
Yep.
Ken, doing all the cooking and the cleanup and all that stuff. I mean, it was a lot of work. But there was a lot of napping going on.
There was a lot of napping, a lot of TV, beach.
The beach.
You hanging around.
You napped a little. I did get one picture of you napping. Yes, on the couch.
Of course you did. Was that late at night?
No, it was like in the middle of the day.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I don't remember being that tired.
Well, I got one picture of you taking a little cat nap.
Gotcha.
And that's what you get for taking those horrible pictures of me on the beach.
Hey, I'm not sharing them with America.
Well, that's true. That is true. I guess we can put one of them in the video.
So long as you're wearing your sunscreen correctly.
Well, we'll talk about that later. Mm-hmm. But part of the reason why those pictures of me are so bad is because I was sitting on that chair.
I don't know why you picked that little teeny weeny
Let me tell
chair.
you why I picked that teeny weeny chair.
It was like for little
had
kids.
to. No, it wasn't for little kids. Well, maybe
it didn't even have armrests on it. So
I had to pick that chair because we all had a good chair, right? I was getting everything ready to go to pack into their Jeep.
Uh-huh.
Well, it turns out the nice big chair we bought for your dad wouldn't fit. So I was in a hurry. I had to leave one chair behind. That meant there were only 2 chairs.
Right, plus that little baby one.
Well, your parents fortunately put 2 chairs in the car because I think they were thinking they were going to sit on those 2 tiny little chairs, the baby chairs.
Yeah.
And there's no way because your dad has to have a chair that has arms on it so he can get up.
He can get up, yeah.
And so I gave your mother the chair I was going to use, and then we gave your dad the chair she was going to use. And I wound up having to sit on the little baby chairs, and it made me look like Buddha. And here Juliet snapping pictures of me.
I'm snapping pictures of everyone. I'm just going to say, I'm snapping pictures of everybody because we're on vacation. And typically, I don't have any pictures of myself on vacation, but I'm taking pictures of everybody
I got one
else.
of you napping.
I know.
So I got some nice pictures.
Oh, good.
But so, fortunately, Al did very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he did come out the first day wearing a getup that I took a picture of, too, because it was hysterical. When he had those compression socks on with his beach shoes.
Yes, because he was at the beach and he was wearing swim trunks. He decided to put on his black compression socks. Job out there, if you're listening, any of those compression socks people, yeah, you need to make them skin color.
Well,
because he has black ones, right? And then what he did is he took a pair of like tan socks, just regular tan knee socks, and put them over them just so they weren't so noticeable, right? And he took them to the beach with his sandals on.
Yes.
And I had told him, I said, hey, do you want to just take all that off and just go into the water? And he's like, no, I have to build up to that. I said, okay. So the following day, he went to the beach. Still didn't go in the water, but he had no socks on.
The second day, he went in the water, didn't he? You and I took him to the water.
And of course, he had his phone in his swim trunks.
Oh,
I
boy.
said, don't put them in there because you're going to... And sure enough. So, hey, Apple out there, your phones work well even when submerged in the ocean. So that worked out fine.
Well, I shot some video and I have some pictures.
Good.
So I've put all that together in a little YouTube video that we're going to post on the channel that you can look at and see. And you can see Al in his beach getup because he came walking out of the room and I was like, click, 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 click. That was hysterical. And I love him. I do. He's one of my all-time favorite people. And the longer I know him, the more of a favorite he is. So I still have to make fun of him. Even though I love him, I still have to make fun of him.
Well, it's all fair because he makes fun of us.
Oh, yeah. He makes fun. I am a big target with my ridiculosity here. And that's fine. but it was entertaining watching. And he napped on the beach like there's no tomorrow.
He was listening. He's got Chirp. So he was listening to a
shout out
book.
to Chirp. Hey.
Chirp.
Fair warning, listener. There are quite a few beach-worthy products we'll be discussing in this episode, starting with, you guessed it, the iPhone and Chirp. And yes, we are still looking for sponsors, so give us a buzz on our Macaroni Fun Phone if you're interested. I'm talking to you, Apple. Yep, he was listening to Agatha Christie book on Chirp. Yep, on his iPhone that he had in his swim trunks.
And that's how we know it still worked.
Right. So,
but yeah.
And then he
took
napped.
a little nap under the
multiple naps.
And Aaron bought a beach sail for the beach, right?
Called Shaboomy. Shout out to Shaboomy because it's manufactured right here in Raleigh.
Awesome.
And now a word from our unofficial Shaboomy spokesperson.
You've got to get this. If you're the type of person that always puts up a tent or
even an umbrella.
Right. It needs some shade. I'm telling you, this Shaboomy, you got to get it. It comes in 2 sizes, a small that fits 2 people, and then a larger one that fits almost 4. That's probably the best thing on the planet that we've used. And Aaron, while we were there, bought the larger one because the other one worked so well. But
and that she can add to her collection of accoutrements.
I know.
Not just for the beach, but for the dog and herself and all the multiple kayaks and stuff like that. Yep.
But that worked out really good.
It did. And I was thankful for that because I am like a vampire on the beach. I'm very white-skinned. I'm like
on top of that,
I'm a day walker.
On top of that, shout out to 2 Ps.
Oh, yeah. That's
2 Ps was that mineral sunscreen. So Joy, who's already pretty transparent in the skin, that is.
You can see my heart beating underneath my skin.
I had bought this 2 Ps, 50, was it?
50 SPF.
SPF, but it's a mineral-based sunscreen. So what it is, it looks like when you're pulling it out, it looks like the old zinc oxide that your mom used to put all over your nose and on your ears, right? And it leaves you pure white. Well, this one's not as bad. So she puts that on, puts it all over her face and her neck and everything else. And, it's getting in her little creases like a little baby, when they get it all over them. And she was even whiter, if that's even possible.
Yes. I know. I was pretty white. But that's why, because I'm 50, I still look like I'm 30. I'm just saying. But Ron showed up on Friday. He was able to make it one day, and I was on the beach, and he took one look at me, and he's like, I don't think you're wearing that sunscreen correctly because you're very, very white. It looks like I am a mime. Ooh, I'm a mime in a box.
Yeah, I find it funny that you're not applying it correctly. How else am I supposed to apply it besides rubbing it into my skin?
I don't know. Maybe with some kind of implement. I don't know. But I did ask the dermatologist. I said, hey, my husband says I'm not putting the sunscreen on correctly. And I don't know. Maybe I'm not doing it correctly. And she goes, the only way you're not doing it correctly is if you're not putting on enough and you're not putting it on often enough.
Right.
Maybe you're missing spots. I'm like, nope, I'm pretty much not missing any spots. I've got it all over me. But yeah, that sunscreen was great. 2 Ps. Yeah. Very, very good. So shout out to that. Yep. I'm talking about the napping. And the reason I'm talking about the napping is because my all-time favorite picture from this trip was that picture of your mother taking a nap with Santy.
Okay, that one was a scary picture.
It was hysterical, and you know it. You know that was funny.
Oh my gosh. That was the funniest picture I think that I have seen in a long, long time.
Okay, wait. I got to give the backstory, okay? So the dogs, of course, you couldn't take the dogs to the beach between 9 and 5, right? So I go back up into the house, and the dogs were loose inside the house. And one of them had pushed their bedroom door open, and she was in there taking a nap. Right. And I saw the dog go in, and I thought, oh, she's taking a nap. I don't want the dog to wake her up. Right. So I open the door and grab the dog and backing the dog out, and then I look over on the bed, and that's when I see the sight. Which, again, I've included the photograph in the little video. I almost bust out laughing right there. It was so funny. So, of course, me being me, I snapped a picture of it. And then I run right back down to the beach. I'm like, Julia, you gotta see this picture of your mother.
So my mom now has to sleep on her back, right? So she had a ton of surgeries and whatnot. And I'm sure we've covered that in other episodes.
Well, rightly so. She's
right?
had some back issues. So,
yeah, so she has a lot of back issues and whatnot. And now I don't even think that she uses a pillow anymore. So she wants to lay really flat on her back, which if you lay flat on your back and you really don't have much of a pillow, you tend to snore, you know? Now, Joy showed me the picture that she had, and here she is laying on the bed. And of course, she's just taking a nap. She's not in bed. So she was laying on the bed.
Like Dracula.
Really straight. She has her arms crossed on her chest.
Like Dracula.
Like you would put someone in a coffin, right? And her dog is sitting at her feet, sleeping, taking a nap too. And
like Renfield.
It was almost as if, when you look at the picture, that you would open the door and it would be like a scary movie, that all of a sudden from the waist up, she gets up and then her face kind of turns at you and you're like, oh no. You know, it was hysterical.
Oh yeah, that was very, very funny. I was like, oh my God, that's so hysterical. I took the picture. I ran down to the beach. You got to see this. Oh my God. It's hysterical. And we were all laughing about it the whole week. I think the funniest comment award goes to Ken calling you Frankentoe. That was funny.
Yes.
Julia has a sore toe. And Ken was like, look, go get Frankentoe and put in the water. Because, you know, ocean water helps with everything, right? So Frankentoe. That was my favorite comment. I did, you know, I'm always a fan of those kind of portmanteau words where you put words together. Portmanteau, get it? So the Frankentoe comment was very funny. You know I have to talk about that.
Yes.
I do think now is an appropriate time for us to give a well-earned shout-out to Michelangelo's, the pizza place.
Oh, yeah. Michelangelo's, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have to say, when Ron and I lived in Wilmington, we lived close by one of their restaurants.
Chains, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I did enjoy the pizza from Michelangelo's this past week. That was good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that.
That was good.
If you're in the Carolina Beach or Wilmington area and you want some really good
Italian food, yeah, pizza, and I think they had
their sandwiches,
and yeah.
very good.
And shout out to that staff too, because when we were there, unfortunately, in this horrible heat, their air conditioning went out, and they still worked and tried to get those
making
orders.
Pizzas in an oven.
I know. And they were all still really gracious and happy. And
the food was still good. So, yeah, delicious.
Yep.
Aside from that, I really looked forward to the Ken dinners. A week's worth of Ken dinners. I was geared up, man. I was ready. I'm like, hey, you guys were bringing that big cooler in. I'm like, hey, what's in there? What are you making? What's your plan? What you got in there? And Ken was like, well, we got this and we got that. And I'm just sitting there going, yeah. Oh, I can't wait. That was yummy. So he's making all these meals, right? And here it is dinner time. We're getting ready to eat. And your mother says, no, I don't eat that much for dinner. I just want some yogurt, right? So when we go to the store on Monday morning, your dad's like, I got to get my wife some yogurt. It's funny. That's
call each other, my wife or my husband.
Right.
Like we don't know who they are.
When they're talking to me,
yeah,
that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
When they're talking to you, they say your mother, your father. But when they're talking to me, they say my wife, my husband, right? So your dad says to me, my wife wants yogurt, some coffee-flavored yogurt. She likes to take it. I've seen her do this. She likes to take the coffee-flavored yogurt and spread it on bread and eat it. Now, here we are. I have been going to Monday night family dinners with her, and we lived with them for a while. I've never one time seen your mother pass up dinner to eat yogurt instead. So I'm not sure what was going on.
I think they've started doing that, like eating their big meal
that could be.
in the middle of the day.
It could be a recent change, yes.
Yeah.
But your dad says, we need to get my wife some yogurt. And so we go to the supermarket, and anybody who's listening in a different country, I don't know if you have this brand. We have a brand of yogurt here called Chobani. The name of the yogurt is spelled Chobani. Chobani.
Yeah.
Well, your mother had a hard time saying it. So here is a clip of your mother talking about the yogurt and what she's calling it. It's so funny. 5 minutes?
I get two desserts today.
No.
All right.
I got two desserts.
What was the first one?
The first one, my Giovanni yogurt.
Okay. So you're counting that as a dessert?
Yes.
Okay.
Why don't you play that footage once again?
Okay. So
And
you
listen carefully as to what she calls Chobani yogurt.
right. Okay. Here we go. I'm gonna play it one more time.
I get two desserts today.
No.
All right.
I got two desserts.
What was the first one?
The first one, my Giovanni yogurt.
Okay.
My Giovanni yogurt.
My Giovanni yogurt.
I'm like, what?
Oh boy. Oh, I love that so much. That was hysterical. I loved it. Yeah, she by the end of the week was eating that for dinner, and that was it.
Yeah.
There were a couple of dinners where she only ate that.
Yeah. Coffee flavored Chobani yogurt.
That was one really good mispronunciation. The Giovanni yogurt. That was pretty funny. And the other mispronunciation that I thought was very funny was when we were playing Guess in 10.
Uh-huh.
So by the time Ron got there, we started getting the games out.
Right.
And of course, Ron, let's play the games. So that was fun. And we played 2 games. The first game we played was a game called Guess in 10, and it was an animal game.
Right.
Now, I will say that I did not know it was just for animals. I thought maybe there's other things in there too, But nope.
Now, this was a game, I think, more so geared for kids, like 10-year-olds. Some of them, and I have to say, I was part of that. It was like, a mammal that has
A long neck and
long neck.
and is heavy or something.
And is heavy, and someone shouts out, an ostrich. And you're like,
No, that was totally me.
what?
That was totally me. And I will say, this game was unfairly stacked in Caitlin's favor. I'm just saying. She is a wildlife and natural resources person.
Right.
So she knows all the animals. So I found myself having to form an alliance at some point, and I tried to do that with my own husband, who totally shanked me. He totally shanked me. Here I thought, maybe Ron and I can get together and we can pool our cards, because the one with 7
No, because he was
cards.
probably trying to align himself with Caitlin.
Yeah, right? The one with 7 cards wins.
Right.
Well, it turned out the winner was Papa.
I know.
Surprise. But my second favorite mispronunciation is from this game. So again, this game is called Guess in 10. And Al's a pretty smart guy, and he's aware, and he's still got his faculties. He's still got his brain, right? And he was pretty good at some of the guesses.
Yeah.
But when we got to the animal that builds dams, that was funny. So here's that clip.
Oh, yes.
This is so good.
Yes.
You gotta get
Buzzwords.
some sea creatures.
Uh-huh.
Those are the hard ones.
Fast, small, rodent. Why did they give it away? They shouldn't have put rodent
Oh, it
on
was
there.
me.
Yeah.
Nope. No.
Do you want to ask a question? Ask a
goes.
question, Mama.
Oh, it's me?
Yes.
Oh, a big rat.
A big rat.
Nope. No.
Do you want to ask a question to get you closer to the answer?
Oh, okay.
Does it eat cheese?
What else do you want to know that will help you get to the
Is afraid of people?
Yes.
Wait, Mama? No. What?
I'm afraid of people right now.
One second. What animal?
Next.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What question do you have? You could either guess what it is or ask a question.
A beaver.
No. Ask a question.
Oh, I gotta ask him a question.
Yes,
I cannot
you
just
can.
You can guess if you want.
I worked with a beaver. It's a beaver.
A beaver. I got the feeling for the flavor of a beaver.
Viva la beaver.
Living the beaver, loca.
No, look. Listen to the buzzwords. It was actually a squirrel. That was funny when he said beaver. Because,
Beaver.
in Espanol, a bee is pronounced as a V,
Right.
like Victor, right?
Well, Victor is a V.
I know, Juliet. That's what
But
I
like
mean.
like vino. No, that's a V too. No. No. A B is a B sound. A V sometimes is a B sound.
What? No.
Like people don't say vino, they say vino. So it's
now
more
I'm
of a
confused.
B sound.
Then why did he say Beaver and
I
not
don't know.
Beaver?
Cuz he was saying beaver, not I don't know why.
But you see what I mean.
I think he just got confused.
Well,
There's a V, Beaver, so it could have been like he was already thinking there's a V and there's a Beaver.
it's a Beaver.
It's a Beaver.
Beaver.
It got a little intense, because everyone was trying to win at that point. Everyone is pretty competitive.
Like, I'm going to win. I'm going to guess that it's a beaver.
How many cards do you have? How many cards do you have? No, I'm going to win. You've got to get it. You've got to get it. It can't get to me or I'm going to get it.
I know.
That's
Caitlin.
That's a whole thing.
That's not fair. She's got the DAC stacked in her favor on that game.
The what? The DAC?
Oh, boy. Never a break.
Do you like beavers?
You don't really. Now I can't use that. What kind of question is that? What's wrong with you? Now you know I have to use it.
Go right ahead.
I've got no choice. Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
Of course, no family gathering is complete without a little drama. So, to end this episode, here's the tale of the locked bathroom door. The only dramatic situation that occurred. And this is something that was pretty funny because we kept locking each other out of the bathrooms.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so picture it, listener. Here we are in our little beach house. We got the 4 bedrooms, and in between each bedroom is a bathroom. It's what we call a Jack and Jill bathroom, meaning there's a door to each bedroom on either side of the bathroom, right? And so you can't get in through the hall. You have to go in through a bedroom to get to the bathroom, right? So both doors lock. And over the course of the week, we each locked each other out.
I know. Because
At least
you
once.
remember the one door that you're coming in and out of, and you forget the other door that you also had to lock.
Right,
Yeah.
on the opposing side that's not your bedroom door side, right? And so the biggest offender of locking people out of the bathroom would be your mother.
I know.
She continuously was locking.
She will deny that.
I
but
know,
yes.
but it's true.
Yeah.
She continuously was locking Aaron and Caitlin out of the
Hey,
bathroom.
look, I'm going to tell you that at one point, I wasn't even locking any of the doors anymore because it happened so often. I was like, nah, no one's coming in. I'm making noise in here. They're going to know I'm here. That's it.
Yeah, making
I'm
noise,
just,
all right.
I'm like, all right.
Well, I figured it like this. If somebody comes in and sees me on the can, it's not the end of the world. Now, in the shower,
Well,
you're going to have PTSD. You're going to go blind. You just are. However, your mother continuously locked Aaron and Caitlin out of the bathroom.
Out of there. And they had, so if you get locked out, then that means that you have to go out into the hallway, come back in the adjoining bedroom, and then go through there. And in the middle of the night, it presents a problem because you really don't want to wake anybody up.
Right.
So Caitlin was getting up and she was just like, oh my gosh, not again. Because she stays up a little bit later,
Right.
So she was like, oh boy, here we go. I got to go back in their bedroom to go through their bedroom to get into the bathroom so that I can go to the bathroom. I'm like, okay.
And so Caitlin comes out and says to your mother, Mama, stop locking the door. And then the hysterics ensued. Your mother, I don't know, I wasn't there. But according to Ken, because at the time this was all going down, I had to drive your dad to the supermarket, remember?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I get back there and I step onto the porch and Ken's like, there's already been tears. There's already been drama. I'm like, oh no, what happened? And then I come inside and that's when it was like, oh, Caitlin yelled at me or something like that. I don't know. Which is never, I can't see Caitlin ever yelling at anybody. You'd have to do something really, like you'd have to like beat a dog or something.
I know.
And Caitlin would maybe then get upset.
Yeah.
But so that was the
Either
one.
she, maybe it was already brewing, or I don't know what it was, but she was just like, I can't believe it. I can't do anything right. I'm being blamed for locking her. I would never do that. I go, you're not doing it intentionally. We're all doing it to each other. It's just be careful, be cognizant of just not locking the door. I don't do it though. And I'm like, okay. And then she's crying. And I was just like, at that point, I'm just like, nope. I'm trying to steer clear of the drama. I'm trying not to have any deep thoughts or deep conversations,
deep thoughts
that could, lead to anyone being, because there's too many people, you just don't want that.
But that was the only time. That was really the only time there was dramatics.
And then that was that.
Mm-hmm. And then we all kind of let it go. We're like, whatever. Moving on. Listener, there's nothing like a small vacation house to bring a family together. Am I right? Well, we had so much fun playing games, eating yogurt, and napping on the beach. I, for one, cannot wait for next year and some more Macaroni family vacation adventures. Eat your heart out, Chevy Chase. This is one vacation where nobody peed on the sandwiches and all the dogs survived the trip. Stay tuned for our next episode where we get up to more hijinks and shenanigans. See you then! This has been a public service announcement from the Compression Sock Foundation reminding you that bigger is always better. I hope you enjoyed listening and sharing a laugh or two with us. Stay tuned for more Everyday Macaroni adventures on future podcast episodes. And if you want to see some pictures of us, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook by searching @EverydayMacaroni or #EverydayMacaroni. And now you can also watch us on YouTube. Just search Everyday Macaroni and our new channel will pop up. If you want to shop for some fun macaroni merch, head over to everydaymacaroni.com. Don't forget, if you have a blended family story to share, email us at info@everydaymacaroni.com and put the word share in the subject line. You can also call us on our Macaroni Fun Phone at 919-729-2043. Your story might end up on a future episode, and how fun would that be? Super fun. Finally, don't forget to give us a good review and download your favorite episodes. A share would be nice too. The more interaction we get for the podcast, the more episodes we can post. Again, thanks for listening, and join us for the next episode of